call two twice, and then we'll go with that rhythm.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to thank you for the beautiful drumming. That drumming is the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and it just does my heart and soul a world of good to hear that at the beginning. Thank you, Miigwech. I would also like to acknowledge that we're gathered here today in the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. The Mi'kmaq and their ancestors did not surrender any lands to the Crown, but rather signed the treaties of peace and friendship, which the Mi'kmaq and the settlers used to work together to further these lands. I am going to do an opening prayer in my language of Anishinaabe. I invite each and every one of you here to pray in your own way and pray in the way that is best for you and what suits you the best. And if you can, I would like you all to stand. Ani bujo nanatemakus indejanakas namayanganaway Anishinaabe Bachwana. Creator, we thank you for the beautiful sunshine that you are giving us today. It helps ignite the fire in our bellies to move ahead with yet another day. And these cool, crisp winds that are blowing help cleanse Mother Earth of her toxins. And we are also thankful, Creator, for the snow that has fallen over the past few days. This snow helps to give a blanket to Mother Earth, so that she can recover from the work that we have put her through for the past few months. And I ask, Creator, that you come into this room today and help us to open our hearts and our minds with clarity and understanding of the stories of the incredible individuals that we are about to hear from. We are so thankful for those individuals who give their heart and soul for the work that they do for our communities here in Jabukduk and are well deserving of this award. We pray, Creator, for our loved ones who are sick and need your help and strength and guidance in the days ahead. And for our loved ones who are preparing themselves for their final journey to you, we ask, Creator, that you welcome them with open arms. And for the doctors, nurses, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics who work so hard day in and day out, protecting our way of life here in Jabukduk, we ask that you keep them safe and free from harm. And lastly, Creator, for our veterans, those men and women who are far from home, protecting our way of life here on Turtle Island, keep them safe and free from harm till they return back to Turtle Island and back to the loving arms of their family and their friends. Emset Nogama, Tahomigwich Ahau. I ask you to please remain standing. Mu and Paul will now honor us with the Mi'kmaq honor song.
Get me Well, Alan, Elder Debbie, and Moen, for your beautiful words and drumming. It was really important to our sister Nicole, who's not here today, and myself as staff of the commission that we share a story with you. Last spring, the commission staff gathered for our annual gathering, and as part of our land welcome, and in a small act of reconciliation, we planted tobacco seeds together. We talked about connection to the land, how plants and animals are kin, and the sacredness of our medicine and those relationships. We explored what a journey around the medicine wheel can look like when we ask Creator to help us to live in a good way. Over the spring and summer, the seeds sprouted and grew right here on Spring Garden Road, Shabuktuk, in our commission office. And they were attended to by our staff with care and good intentions. In the fall, the leaves and the seeds were harvested with so much gratitude and reverence for Mother Earth and all the blessings that she provides. Nicole and Angela and I were so honored on that day to share our teachings with our work family and to have the knowledge received so eagerly. It gave us so much hope for what the future holds for our relationship. Our best love and prayers were poured into this medicine, and Elder Debbie, on behalf of all the sisters here today and all the brothers, we'd be honored if you would accept this gift of tobacco seeds on behalf of the commission.
Gwe, Walaliok. Hello, and thank you for joining us today as we celebrate human rights during this Nova Scotia Human Rights Week. Deluisi Joe Fraser. My name is Joe Fraser. I use the pronouns he and him. I'm the director and CEO of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, and it is my honor and my privilege to welcome you to the 2023 Nova Scotia Human Rights Awards. Pardon me, Walalin Muin Paul for that beautiful rendition of the honor song. Walalio to Amanda McPhee and Nicole McKenzie, who unfortunately couldn't be with us this afternoon, for sharing that story of those first tobacco seeds that were planted at the commission offices just a few blocks from here. That story of that batch of tobacco seeds is symbolic of the steps the commission is taking to really ground our work in the philosophy of reconciliation and the way we're learning from and working with each other. So thank you, Amanda, for sharing that. Amanda is a human rights officer with the commission who's focused on early resolution. Nicole McKenzie, who I mentioned couldn't be here, is another human rights officer with the commission who's focused on intake, and they're both a very integral part of the commission team, so thank you. Walalin as well, Elder Debbie, for that opening prayer, and it's always such a pleasure to have you open our events. We're grateful for you, Walalin. Thank you as well to Ayo Aladejebi, Robert Leake, and Sobaz Benjamin for that awesome drumming that brought us together and welcomed us into the space, the drummers from home. Let's give them another round of applause. Those of us who are gathered in person are here in the Paul O'Regan Hall in the Halifax Central Library in Shabuktuk, Halifax, which is on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq. And we've come together today to celebrate human rights, recognizing the really immense contributions of the generations of people who've come before us, and in particular, the generations of Olnu and African Nova Scotians and other people of African descent who continue to be impacted by systemic and societal legacies of colonialism. We've come together today to honor the recipients of this year's Nova Scotia Human Rights Awards. 4 individuals and 2 groups, leaders in their communities, leaders in the province, and all champions of human rights. I would like to welcome this year's recipients, who you will all meet shortly. Today we honor you and your work, and we welcome you and your guests and the family and friends that have come with you today. Welcome to the Honorable Twyla Gross, Minister of the Public Service Commission and African Nova Scotian Affairs. Welcome to Susie Hansen as well, member of the Legislative Assembly. We want to acknowledge the commissioners of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission who are joining online this afternoon after holding a commission meeting this morning. And so the commissioners really infuse the work of the commission through their diverse perspectives and community connections and expertise. And so we're grateful for the commissioners and their leadership, and we acknowledge them today. I also want to welcome the staff of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, my colleagues, my team, without whom we wouldn't be doing this event today. So welcome and thank you. Welcome to the elders and community members who are with us and all the friends who are joining in person and online. We've made efforts to plan and host this event in a way that is accessible and inclusive and decolonized, and we hope that you will experience it in that way. Each year, we commemorate Human Rights Day with the presentation of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Awards. This year, we do that ahead of December 10th, which is Human Rights Day, during the first ever Nova Scotia Human Rights Week. So December 3rd through 10th was proclaimed this week as Nova Scotia Human Rights Week by Premier Tim Houston. This is in honor of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was a really groundbreaking global commitment to protect the dignity of all people. Human rights are central to creating safe and equitable communities and to protecting the inherent dignity of all people. But as polarizing politics and escalating international violence and poverty and a national housing crisis work to challenge and divide us, the principles that are embedded in human rights have the power to bring us together and unite us. And that's what we celebrate today. Today, we turn our attention to those who are actively working toward the goal of making this province a more inclusive, more equitable, and more accessible place to live and work and play. We are celebrating the conveners, the creators of safe spaces, the amplifiers, the disruptors, and the agents for change. I would like to invite my colleague, Ayo Oladejebi, to the podium to introduce our first award of the day, which is the Youth Award. In addition to being one of the drummers from home, Ayo leads our work of promoting and advancing human rights as the Director of Race Relations, Equity, and Inclusion with the Human Rights Commission. Please welcome Ayo.
Thank you very much, Joe. It is my pleasure to introduce the recipients of the 2023 Nova Scotia Human Rights Award in the youth category. For about 5 months, including the summer months, 12 high school students worked tirelessly to organize the first of its kind All-Black Youth Summit, which we call the NEA Summit. This youth worked very diligently to identify the keynote for the summit. They designed the logo for the summit. They determined the swag and the merch. Yeah, I call it merch. They led the communications and they did the media promotion for the event. They determined the menu. They even contracted the caterer. They coordinated the volunteers who were adults. And they organized the decorations. They led the moderation of the panel discussion. They MC the event. In one word, they pretty much led charge. They took charge of the entire event, and they spent the whole summer month doing this. So you can only imagine trying to get a whole bunch of youth to give away their summer month to organize such event. So they did a fantastic job in doing this. So the good news is that their efforts paid off, as 130 high school students from across Nova Scotia ended up gathering at the Black Cultural Center for Nova Scotia on September 22nd for the NEAR Summit. And during this summit, there were so many conversations that revolved around the theme of equal in dignity and rights, anti-Black racism from a youth perspective. So this afternoon, we recognize the NEAR Youth Ambassadors for their leadership, their dedication, and their commitment to bringing the youth perspective to human rights through conversation that took place during the NEAR Summit. I will now invite these amazing youth ambassadors to come to the podium, as I'm going to read out their names one after the other. So I know two of them are not here with us, but I'll read out the ones that are here. Desia Abe. Moriah Alade Jebi. And if anyone is wondering, the last name is not coincidental, that's my daughter. Just saying. Inwadi Leorama Azuka Onwuka. Praise Babalola. Georgia Rain Kane. Georgia Rain Kane. Kiera Grady. Princess Okorie. Joshua Paris. Nathan Tesfazian. And the last but not the least, Jarice Wiley. All right, give it up for the NEAR Summit Youth Ambassador. So Nathan, you're coming to the podium to speak on behalf of the...
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nathan Tesfazian, and I am pleased to stand here and to have been selected to speak on behalf of the 12 youth ambassadors who organized and led the first NEA Summit. I am a bilingual first-year student studying a Bachelor's of Science at Dalhousie University, and I intend to pursue medical school after my undergraduate studies. I am lucky enough to come from two very rich heritages, with my father being a first-generation immigrant from Eritrea in East Africa, and my mother being African Nova Scotian, a Cromwell from Weymouth, Digby County. My roots trace back many years to the original Black settlers of 1783. Just like me, every one of these 12 youth ambassadors comes from a wide variety of rich heritages, whether it is local, global, or both. This shows the sense of diversity that is present within Nova Scotia. We are truly honored to have been selected to receive this award. When I first heard of the opportunity to be involved in the NIA Summit, I was working as an employee of a part of the Black Youth Development and Mentorship Program with the provincial government. The Black Youth Development and Mentorship Program is an initiative that seeks to involve high school students of Black descent in government positions so that they can gain experience. When we were presented with this concept of the NIA Summit, having 12 youth being able to organize an event of this magnitude, I thought surely we would simply be a form of support and minor input. However, I was quickly proven wrong. The 12 of us were brought together, most of us being strangers. We immediately worked very well together. We divided tasks and we began planning the process. We did outreach to local businesses, assembled volunteers, selected workshops, voted on speakers and guests, and much more. We were given the freedom to choose the direction that we wanted to pursue through creativity and collaboration. The NIA Summit was a unique event for youth, organized by youth. That's what made it so special. The term NIA means purpose, the purpose of our community to uplift one another and build a better future for our people. This encapsulates the significance of recognizing, acknowledging, and honoring our traditions and cultures. As an African Nova Scotian, there are many struggles that we face on a day-to-day basis. One of them often being the sentiment of feeling alone and finding it difficult to understand ourselves. As a young Black student, I can recall many times I felt a disassociation with my identity. This was especially due to the lack of Black representation that was present within my secondary education. I can recall when I was told I was not Black enough for not sagging my pants, but then if I were to, I was still acknowledged as the least Black kid my classmates knew. I found myself always wanting to be surrounded by those who understood my difficulties and my experiences. This is what the NIA Summit intended to do. With this summit, we wanted to bring our community together and express our unity and capacity to overcome such challenges. This led to us inviting 130 Black students from all across the province to witness discussions from distinguished guests and presentations from our own youth ambassadors, and to engage in workshops. We obviously had some difficulties. Trying to gather all 12 of us every second Saturday at 10 a.m. in the summer proved to be quite the difficult task. However, our cooperation made it work. We were paired in groups of two within 6 positions. Lyndon and I were the volunteer coordinators. Josh and Georgia were our workshop coordinators. Mariah and Nevaeh managed our social media platforms. Kira and Praise organized food and beverages. Dilly and Princess were our technology coordinators. And our 2 treasurers were Daisia and Jay Reese. All these positions played a crucial role as we collaborated to organize this event. We all needed one another. Now, if you were to ask me if I would do it all over again, I would definitely say yes, and I believe this sentiment is shared by all of us. In addition to having been able to put together this eventful day for our community, we were able to build and strengthen our friendships that will hopefully last for the years to come. Finally, the NIA Summit was constructed based on our collaborative decisions, but we cannot forget to mention the contributions and support that was provided to us. Thank you to all of our sponsors who allowed this to happen, and a big thank you to Sam, who unfortunately isn't here with us today, Gabby, Io, for bringing us together and allowing this event to have happened. And finally, on behalf of the 12 youth ambassadors of the first NIA Summit, I would like to say thank you.
I did realize. That was longer.
Thank you, drummers from home. Thank you, Nathan, for those words, and congratulations to all of the NIA Summit Youth Ambassadors. I think we can say fairly confidently that we're going to see these young people continue to show up and push and change our province in really wonderful ways. So congratulations again. I would now like to invite another member of the commission team to present our next award. Gola Taraski Carr is the commission's manager of dispute resolution. She is a restorative practitioner, a courageous leader, and a valued colleague. Please welcome Gola.
Thank you, Joe. The next award presentation today is in the individual category. There are 2 awards in this category this year. The individual award is presented to a Nova Scotian aged 21 or older who demonstrates leadership and whose work has contributed to change in their community by advancing equity, inclusion, and the value in promoting and protecting human rights. Motivated by her passion for music, Veronica Merrifield's journey into electronics started in her early teens. After completing her formal education in electrical and electronic engineering at Portsmouth University, England, she worked in a broad spectrum of markets and has a few patents as well. She is now mostly retired from tech. Building on her transgender and intersex journey to womanhood, she has established herself as an EDI and trans rights community leader. Veronica is board chair for the Every Woman Center, Cape Breton Center for Sexual Health, Marion Bridge School Advisory Council, and is a member of the Status of Women Advisory Council and Cape Breton Pride Board. She has worked successfully to effect changes to legislation and has worked with the Department of Health and Wellness on gender affirming care. She is the founder of the Cape Breton Transgender Network and the Nova Scotia Intersex Support Network. Veronica has 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, makes musical instruments, plays bass, and a pretty mean guitar and keyboards. She is a writer, photographer, and is, like a true Cape Bretoner, always partial to a decent cup of tea. I would like to invite Veronica Merrifield to come forward to accept her award and say a few words.
Thank you, and thank you to the commissioners. I didn't have anything written. I live with dyslexia, and reading is really, really difficult, so I have no idea what's going to come out. I was looking at this sign behind us that says, at work, in school, while shopping, in the community, and everywhere. A lot of the transgender children and youth that I help also need that at home. The number of that live in hostile homes is a real struggle for them, and it's a large part of what I do. Finding the gaps in support and situations, finding the gaps in legislation. It's partially what I do too, but I think that's my engineering background to look for that. One of the common questions that I get asked, and the one that my daughter asked me, is what drives me? And the thing that drives me is suicides. My own experience includes suicide attempts. In Cape Breton, in the last 6 years, I think there's been 4 trans suicides. And every one of those hits me hard. And that's why I do what I do. And that's what I want to thank you for, and that's the work that I want to thank everybody for. I will continue to educate, which is a big part of it, in the rising crime, rising hate that we've seen in this last year. The transgender, intersex, and gender non-conforming are bearing the brunt of that. And having been on the street with the counter protests, the amount of abuse that got hurled at us from vehicles indicates how much more we still have to do. So with that, thank you.
Congratulations, Veronica. The recipient of the second 2023 Human Rights Award in the individual category will accept her award in absentia. She is currently in Belgium with the My Home, My Rights Research Collective at a conference celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Sheila Wildman is the Associate Director of Dalhousie University's Health Justice Institute and an Associate Professor at the Schulich School of Law, where she teaches administrative law, poverty and human rights law, and imprisonment and penal policy. She is also co-chair of the East Coast Prison Justice Society. Sheila's research and publications, like her community work, asks the question of how law may be used to advance the justice aspirations of persons who are marginalized by legal, health, and social systems. With a focus on the justice claims of disabled people and incarcerated people, her work draws on human rights law, critical disability theory, and carceral studies. For the past 3 years, Sheila has worked with an arts-based action research collective, My Home, My Rights. The collective's work is funded through a grant that is held by the Law School and Inclusion Nova Scotia, and it centers the insight of 6 core collective members with intellectual and other disabilities. Together with a wider group of arts-based supporters, the collective has created art and videos to support their ongoing advocacy. I would like to congratulate Sheila Wildman and play the following video message.
That I couldn't be with you in Halifax to receive this award today. It's not for want of incredible gratitude to the folks who nominated me and to the Human Rights Commission for the award. I looked at the other recipients and I'm just so humbled to be in company of all of you. I'm speaking to you from Belgium, where the My Home, My Rights arts-based research action collective have gathered to present our work. In fact, we just came out of our session and you're looking at some of the art. If you panned around, you'd see the rest of the group and you're not yet seeing them. To see them, that's a surprise. And it's just been an incredible event. Here sharing our work at the 75th anniversary of the UN Declaration on Human Rights. It's an interdisciplinary international conference. And it just reminds me, as this award does, of how my career has developed over 20-some years. And that's from a starting point of really asking myself what I think and how best to craft sentences and essays and chapters that very few people have read, and then working very hard to craft all of that. That was the early days up to about the midpoint. And the best part of my career, which is really culminating here with this work, and it's culminating with my work with East Coast Prison Justice Society, which I know there are a few of those folks involved in the process of getting me to this award. And that too is an incredible collaborative effort
Our work doing civil society jail monitoring in Nova Scotia has been the most incredible privilege for me to work with prisoners as well as folks like Laura Beach, who's our main staff on our phone line, folks like Harry Critchley, my co-chair at East Coast Prison Justice, and all our allied organizations like Elizabeth Fry Societies of mainland Nova Scotia, who I know has also won an award, a community award they're collecting tonight. Coverdale Justice Society has also been an incredible ally for us. The Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center, I see Ann Float's name on the list of recipients. And I remember those days in the early days of COVID, coming together with so many in community, Direction 180, so many others, to start planning, right as our feet hit the ground, we were planning to advocate on behalf of the folks that we knew should. We weren't quite sure whether they would be decarcerated, be moved out of the jails, which were even more dangerous than usual as COVID came down. So many of us, and some of those who are on the list of award recipients tonight, came together and worked together like a team. I recall even Karen Hudson, who is then Deputy Minister of Justice, meeting with me, Emma Halper, and some other folks on the Saturday before Easter Sunday with two other deputy ministers. And she said at that time, because of COVID-19 sort of coming down and this threat the whole community was feeling, she said, this is a time we have to row together. I'm an emotional person, as folks know, at all times are times that we have to row together, and this is where I call on my team. I have my rights. Along with Alice Evans, we've got David Simmons, who is the amazing photographer, Simon Snyder, incredible core member of our crew, and Connor Corey, another human rights warrior. So thank you to all the communities I work with, and I look forward to more.
Congratulations again to Sheila and the team at My Home, My Rights. The next award we will be presenting today is the Dr. Burnley Allen Rocky Jones Award. Presented annually to an individual of African descent whose work reflects and builds on the legacy of the late Dr. Burnley Allen Rocky Jones in championing racial equality, advancing justice, and fostering socioeconomic empowerment. I would like to invite one of Rocky Jones' daughters, Tracy Jones Grant, to introduce this award. Please welcome Tracy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's always such an honor to be asked by the Human Rights Commission to speak of my father, but also to be part of presenting this award. And for those of you who don't know who Rocky Burnley Jones is, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background on my dad. He was one of the greatest champions of the civil rights, beginning with his involvement with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Student Christian Leadership Conference, and including his work on political initiatives such as his work with the NDP. The press labeled him Rocky the Revolutionary, and he was often referred to as the Stokely Carmichael of the North. When he returned to Nova Scotia in 1965, he became heavily involved in working on the rights for people of African descent, including founding Kawacha House. He was a founding member of the Black United Front, and he helped to establish the transition year program at Dalhousie University, and later the Indigenous Black and Mi'kmaq program at Dalhousie Law School. He was internationally known as a political activist. He was one of Canada's leading experts in environmental racism, representing the Frederick Street residents in Sydney, Nova Scotia, who were victims of some of the worst industrial hazardous waste pollution in Canada. He also strongly advocated for prisoners' rights. He established the real opportunities for prisoner employment, and he had a passion for the betterment of young people of all races. And that's just a little bit about my father and why I think this award means so much to me and would have meant so much to him. So it is my honor to speak just a little bit about this year's recipient of the Burnley Rocky Jones Human Rights Award. I just got to pull up the bio that I had here. Just one moment, please. When you walk with a cane, you got to make sure you get someplace to put it. Okay, here we go. And it's really exciting for me to be able to present this because I have known this award recipient, I can say, all of their life. Tia Upshaw is a dynamic individual, seamlessly navigating the roles of devoted mother, accomplished author, and entrepreneur, leaving her mark on the community and beyond. As a mother of three, Tia not only understands the delicate balance of family responsibilities, but draws inspiration from her children, using their experience as a catalyst for positive change. Her influence extends beyond being an author, but also as an entrepreneur with a relentless drive, innovative mindset, creating multiple successful businesses. Tia's leadership and business acumen have earned her numerous prestigious awards, including Business Leader of the Year by the Halifax Chamber of Commerce, RBC Women of Influence. She was recognized as a top 100 Black women in Canada in 2023. Her commitment to fostering entrepreneurship led to her role as a professional in residence at St. Mary's University's L. Arthur Entrepreneurship Center in 2023. Tia is passionate about supporting and uplifting Black women. She's co-founder and CEO of Black Women in Excellence, established in 2020. This groundbreaking organization provides transformative space for Black women in Nova Scotia and Kelowna, BC, fostering connection, collaboration, and thriving. I could go on and on, but I want to kind of close with a few things. Tia stands on very, very, very strong shoulders. Her grandmother, Mrs. Evelina Upshaw, was a mother to many. She wrapped her arms around us, as I'm sure she did Tia. And from that strength from Miss Eveline, we have seen what we see in Tia today. Tia's unwavering dedication to empowering women, especially young women and Black women, and fostering entrepreneurship is a driving force for positive change, making her a mentor and a beacon of empowerment that shapes the communities that we're in. I'd like to call on Minister Gross to please join me in the presentation of the Burnley Rocky Jones Award to Ms. Tia Upshaw.
Let's get a picture. Come on, Tracy. Oh, over. And then I'll bore everybody with my speech in a sec. Thank you. Thanks. Those private whispers, I love them. Good afternoon, everybody. I stand before you today profoundly honored and deeply humbled to accept the Nova Scotian Human Rights Award, and in particular, Dr. Burnley Allen Rocky Jones Award. It's huge. This recognition holds a special place in my heart, as it is not only acknowledges individual efforts, but also symbolizes a collective commitment to the ideals championed by the late Dr. Rocky Jones. Rocky Jones was a tireless advocate for human rights, social justice, and equality. His legacy is a beacon that has guided many of us upon our purpose and responsibility. To receive an award bearing his name is not just an acknowledgement of my personal achievements, it is an affirmation of the values we share and the work we collectively undertake to build a fair and inclusive society of Black people in Nova Scotia. I must express my gratitude to the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, as I was shocked when I got the email that I got this award. Thank you. I really was shocked. It is a testament of the power of community, the resilience of those who strive for positive change, and the Jones once said, "Justice is not about some abstract legal standard. It is about how we treat each other daily." These words resonate with me deeply, and I believe they are the essence of a collective mission. In my journey as an advocate for the empowerment of Black women in entrepreneurship and the rights of Black individuals in the entrepreneurial landscape here in Nova Scotia, I have witnessed the transformative power of unity. Black Women in Excellence was not co-founded, it was founded only by me. Just a little correction there. Black Women in Excellence, which I have the privilege to lead, stands as a testament to the strength that arises when communities come together and uplift one another. This award is a recognition not only of my efforts alone, but of the shared commitment of everyone involved in these endeavors. Again, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to my children, and I got these fake eyelashes on, so I gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. To my children, my friends, family, colleagues, and to my fiance who always supports me in every crazy idea I have. And to the Black women in our communities that have led the way before me. They are very, very important because I would not be able to stand here without the women that came before me, and I stand on their shoulders. As we move forward, let us carry the spirit of Dr. Allen Rocky Jones with us. Let us be the architects of a future where human rights are not just an acknowledgement, but a safeguard, where justice is not an abstract ideal, but lived reality for all. Together, let us continue the work that has been started, inspired by the legacy of Dr. Burnley Allen Rocky Jones and others, and guided by the shared commitment of human rights for everybody in Nova Scotia and beyond. And again, my name is Tia Upshaw, and I thank you for having me today.
Thank you, drummers from home. Congratulations, Tia. Thank you, Tracy. And thank you, Minister Gross. Our next award, the Waluguin Award, was introduced last year and is presented to an all-new individual, youth or adult, group or organization, whose work advances the rights of Mi'kmaq or other Indigenous people while creating a just, equitable, and inclusive society. Waluguin is a Mi'kmaq word which loosely translates, "Congratulations, you are doing extremely well, and your work does not go unrecognized." I would like to invite Angela Doyle Faulkner to introduce this award. Angela was integral to the creation of this award last year when she worked as the Commission's Mi'kmaq and Indigenous Liaison and Education Officer. Angela is currently on leave, working at the Mi'kmaq Way DeBert Cultural Center. Please welcome Angela.
Bilal and Joe. I actually work with Indigivisor in correlation with many Mi'kmaq organizations across Mi'kma'ki. So I just want to clarify that. So today, wow, I think we have some of the best people from Nova Scotia here today. And I'm just going to invite my Nida, my friend David, to come up and speak before I present this very beautiful Onu with a very special award.
I forgot my notes at home. No. I gotta talk a little bit about Pam. Eloise, my name is David Ladouceur. I washed up on the shores of Nova Scotia. Oh no, actually I drove a beat-up old car to get here and got stranded in 1992. And around that time, I was fortunate enough to stumble into the Friendship Center, and very fortunate that my circle grew with meeting Pam. We've been through a lot together, right, at the Friendship Center, and you know, I was there to host rallies and cause trouble, and you know, there's that guy again. But there was never a no. There was never a no. And as I got to know things and got settled in and got to know Pam, you know, and her drive, her ambition, you know, it's like, where do you find her? You know, she's in Ottawa, she's in Vancouver, she's here, she's there, but always promoting, always doing big things that I want to be a part of, right? Big things that help people, help their urban Indigenous people, that help communities that want to come to the city. And as an activist myself, you want to tie yourself to like-minded people because you believe that the change is coming and they're the leaders, the matriarchs in this room who lead the battles, who pick us up when we fall, dust us off and say, come on, get out of here, kid, there's more to do. Pam is one of those people. And her vision is astounding, right? She has this vision and it's like, how do I get there? And she does it. That vision just opens up and it's like, okay, we're getting there. And, you know, visionaries are very rare in this day and age. And Pam truly is a visionary. And, you know, I sit on the board of directors at the Friendship Center. And, you know, it's like, where do we go next, Pam? Right? Whatever help she needs, I will be sure to be there to make sure that the success is there. Success for our communities is there. And I don't think there's anybody more who deserves this award than you, Pam. And yeah, good on you, girl.
Wow, wow, that was beautiful. Willel and David. So I was asked to present this award to someone who's honored and cared for and loved immensely in the Mi'kmaq community. And I couldn't be more honored to do this today. People walk through life and inspire others that they have no idea how much they inspire people. So I'm just going to read here a little bit before we bring Pam up to honor her. So the mandate of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission has been shaped by key Mi'kmaq-related human rights issues, such as the Royal Commission on the Donald Marshall Inquiry. Last year, I was honored to be part of the team to bring this to fruition. We actually have one of our inaugural winners of the Welugwen Award, Elder Doreen Bernard, here today. She accepted the award last year on behalf of herself and all of the grandmother water keepers protecting our water here in Mi'kma'ki. I also want to give honor to our beautiful Elder Dan Paul, who has gone on to the spirit world. I feel his presence because he was very passionate about human rights, not only for Indigenous people, for our African brothers and sisters and communities. He fought hard and he did not back down. So I want to give him honor today as well. I must say that this year's recipient is very, very deserving. Pamela Glode DeRoche has worked with the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center for over 28 years and has been the executive director for more than 12 years. Her mandate at the Friendship Center is to provide quality programs to urban Indigenous people. These programs focus on reducing poverty and crime, health, housing, homelessness, justice, and to promote personal and community health and well-being. She has a central role in developing a new friendship center that will provide opportunities for our urban Indigenous community to become self-sustainable. Under her leadership, the number of programs and services offered at the Friendship Center has increased from 8 to 40. Can we have a hand of applause for that? And in these programs, including housing and homelessness, employment and training, early childhood education, several literacy programs, and a youth program. Pam currently sits on the board of directors of the National Association of Friendship Centers. She received the Governor General's Award, Sovereign Medal for Volunteers in Ottawa for outstanding Indigenous leadership. I would like to congratulate you, Pam, on this very well-deserved award and invite you to say a few words.
Kwe. Yeah, I'm not very good at accepting these kinds of awards. I do the work I do because I love my community. I do the work to ensure that my community has a better place, that we have the opportunity to stand and take our rightful place in many conversations. I am blessed and privileged to be doing the work that I do. I actually love my job. Well, okay, maybe not every day. But 99% of the time I love my job, and I acknowledge my family has given up, my family has put up with a lot from me, put it that way. I've missed birthdays, and I think it was like 10 years in a row, I actually missed my anniversary with my husband because the work does take me across Canada. But I would do it all over again. We deserve to have the space to stand and be present and to be heard. And that doesn't always happen. And the reality is we have many ancestors who've walked ahead of us, and we owe it to them to continue in their footsteps so that we are making it a little bit easier for the next generation, because make no mistakes, we still have a long ways to go. Racism is alive and well, and we have to do what we can to make it just a little bit easier for our next generation. And I have to say, I have to acknowledge the youth. I don't even know what to say. You guys are amazing. And it warms my heart because I think we're in a really good place when I see what you guys have done. And hold those proud, and you'll continue doing wonderful things. I have no doubt that you guys are going to make amazing footsteps for the next generation, and it does come. We all are getting older every day, and the next time you will be the one standing here going, yes, for the next generation. Trust me, it happens. I'm only 29, I shouldn't look like this. I am blessed to do what I do. I love what I do. My community is everything. And we are making changes for the betterment of my community. But boy, we still have a long ways to go. And we have to support each other in all this work. You know, we are creating a new friendship center, and actually I just realized a lot of the team that has been part of that is here. My staff are here. I can't do the work that I do without the support of my staff. By the way, I have the best staff in the world. I do. And I also have to acknowledge I have the best board members because they let me do what I do. They listen to my crazy ideas and they let me do what I need to do, and they support it. And Muin, I want to acknowledge you as well. Muin is a young man who works with us, and very proud of him. And our future is in good hands with young people around us. You're a very important part of our future. Yes, I'm looking at you. Remember, someday you're going to be up here doing this. No pressure. And I'm going to leave it at that, but I do want to acknowledge Doreen and Danny, who received this last year. And of course, Danny's no longer with us, and my heart is very heavy. And I don't consider myself in that caliber, just so you know. But acknowledgement for all the hard work that you have done. And Angela, for all the hard work that you have done to actually make this possible for Indigenous people. Kwe, Insit Nogama.
Pam, can we ask you to come back up here for a minute, please? We're going to be drumming a song for Pam. It's called the Strong Woman Song. This song originated in the prison system when our Indigenous people are overrepresented, both men and women. And it was found that in the women's prison, people would go missing and they couldn't account for who was missing. So they created this song to sing so that every morning they could check on the women and they'd sing the verse of the song. And if one woman's voice wasn't there, they know that she wasn't there. And the song is called the Strong Woman Song because it was created to keep the women strong, keep the women together, and know that they always had somebody who had their back. So we want to drum this song this afternoon, Pam, to know that, you know, you're a leader, we would follow you anywhere, and that's good because I was in the Navy for 36 years, so I'll follow you anywhere. But to know that we value you, we love you, and we got your back, girl.
Congratulations again, Pam. Thank you, Elder Debbie, Angela, and others for sharing that beautiful performance of the Strong Woman's Song and for sharing that history of the song with us and using that to honor your sister, Pam. Thank you. Olaliok. I'd like to invite another member of the commission team to present our final award of the day, which is granted annually to a group or organization whose collective action serves to protect dignity, advance equity, promote inclusion, and raise awareness of human rights in Nova Scotia. Kendrick Douglas works as legal counsel at the Human Rights Commission alongside our senior legal counsel, Kimberly Franklin, who is unable to join us in person today. Please welcome Kendrick.
Thank you, Joe, and good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce the 2023 Nova Scotia Human Rights Award recipient in the group or organization category. Established in 1984, the Elizabeth Fry Society of Mainland Nova Scotia is a nonprofit organization striving to address the root causes of criminalization of women, girls, and gender diverse individuals. The staff at Fry engage with these vulnerable populations to foster their personal empowerment and aid them in developing stronger connections to community. The organization is devoted to improving the lives of women, girls, and gender diverse individuals in Nova Scotia through comprehensive housing supports, implementing innovative programming initiatives, promoting justice system reform, and supporting the building of individual capacity, contributing to the development of positive relationships within communities. Geared toward personal empowerment, gender-based violence support, employment, and education, programs offered to clients include relapse prevention, encompassing workshops that focus on managing substance abuse through the use of problem-solving strategies, Women for Change, a 5-week program that addresses barriers to forming healthy relationships, creating communities of care, a network dedicated to creating initiatives in spaces that prioritize Indigenous and African Nova Scotia communities navigating the justice system. The Abundance Program, a comprehensive initiative providing participants with necessary information and tools for supporting their employment and educational journeys. And Girls Against Trafficking and Exploitation, which in collaboration with local youth organizations aims to heal and empower femme-identifying youth at the intersection of potential criminalization and exploitation. At this time, I would like to invite Emma Halprin, Executive Director of Elizabeth Fry, to come forward and accept this award.
We're all huggers at Fry. Hi. I speak publicly a lot, but it's really daunting to have to stand here and represent the incredible 40+ staff that work right now in mainland Nova Scotia for and on behalf of some of the most phenomenal, brave community members in our community. We serve about 500 clients a year, and our clients are many of whom are unhoused, most of whom have spent time within the last year in a correctional facility, either provincial or federal, many of whom are struggling with some of the hardest and most difficult moments in their lives. Thank you, Tia Upshaw, for that. We are torchbearers of justice. Loved that, thank you. That's, I think, how we see our roles at Fry. We are torchbearers of justice. It is more than just providing service, but it is about fighting for social change. And to me, human rights are entirely grounded in that fight for justice and social change. Sadly, we do not have a country where human rights are truly accessible to all. And we're all here in this room fighting because we know we need to keep going with that fight. But it's hard. And it's hard every day for our staff who see some of the most difficult things that our society has around us, who see people struggling, living in tents right now in the middle of the snow, who sit through horrific court trials, talking about abuse and trauma. Our staff who are getting phone calls at 2:00 in the morning because someone has just been victimized and needs to get to the hospital. That's the type of work that the staff team at eFry is doing every day. 2023 has been a hard year for us. It's a year where there's been a lot of pain and a lot of struggle. We lost many clients this year. We lost clients to overdose. We lost clients to suicide. We lost clients in prison and in jail. This award, for me and for our team, it's as much for our team as it is for our clients. And two particular young women are with me in my heart and in this journey and in this work, and will be for the rest of my life. So I want to name Sarah Denny and Hannah McLean, who both died this year, both young women, incredible, strong, brilliant women fighting for change in various spaces, and both died because of a lack of human rights, because of oppression, because of homelessness and drug addiction, lacks of services, and failures in our state services that are out there. Just this morning, I actually learned of another community member, a sexual assault survivor, who is struggling under the weight of trauma and going through a very oppressive legal process and had taken her own life. And so this is our work. This is our work and the work of our staff, because every single day they get up and they come back and they build on their strength and their resilience, and they're back in their cars and their offices, or the cars that are sometimes their offices, and out there trying to make right. And because of their incredible work, because of their fight for justice and their commitment every day, we are seeing changes. We are seeing changes in our systems. And just a few changes from the last year. Because of the work of our team, we won a landmark case for the economic rights of sex workers. We successfully challenged the most horrific form of solitary confinement, and it's now been banned. We still have a long way to go because it's still out there and still impacting our most vulnerable people, our Indigenous folks, our African Nova Scotians, being put into solitary confinement in our jails. And so we need to keep fighting. We need to stay strong. We need to be resilient. We've also been able to open up houses, and I mentioned Hannah McLean, and Hannah was an unhoused client who died this year in a homeless park. But we were able to open a house in her honor, and that house will house young women and mothers and family members and community, and it will be there in her memory and in her honor. Thank you. We continue to work to change the very oppressive nature of our prisons and our jails. Thank you for the mark about the sign, and I also thought we need in prison up there. That is a place where human rights are hard to come by. Rights are hard to come by. Sarah Denny fought for the rights not just of herself, but of other women inside. I will never forget when she came up to me a few years ago and herself was struggling with many of the things that were happening and wanted me to make sure that that an elderly woman who was struggling with health issues was being taken care of. Never thinking of herself, always fighting for others. Sarah died of pneumonia at 36 in our jail this year, there after a breach in relation to her addiction. In her memory, we need to change what is happening behind our walls. Everyone needs to know about this, to fight against what is going on in our prisons and in our jails. This is our work. This will continue to be our work because we believe that our women, that our community members, our gender diverse people, they need to be in our communities. They need to be in the housing and the support and have love and have care and have healthy meals and have people who surround them who are supporting them. And that's the work of EFRI. That's what we do and we will continue to do. And so this award, I thank the Commission for recognizing us, but this is my moment to thank my staff who are, gotta fight with you, Pam, maybe some of the best staff out there, although we do share some staff. And my board, like Pam's, who puts up with a lot from me and lets me do what I want to do and also supports this work and the work that we're doing on the ground in community. And without them, we wouldn't be here. And so thank you to our team and thank you to our community and thank you to the Commission. Lawlin.
Thank you and congratulations again, Emma, and to all of the staff of Elizabeth Fry for your accomplishments and for the work you turn up and do every day. So this brings us near to the end of our programming for this afternoon. It's always such a moving experience to talk with the awards recipients and to hear the stories of the work they're doing to really advance human rights in Nova Scotia. The Human Rights Commission, our work is to protect and promote human rights in the province, but it's part of a larger system of human rights work in the province, and so much of that is advanced by individuals and organizations and community groups that are represented in the folks that we've heard from and honored today. So I want to thank each one of you for your just steadfast commitment to human rights, to your communities, and to our shared inherent dignity. Thank you, Walalyok. Just a couple of final words of closing before we ask Elder Debbie to close the day for us. We will ask if the award recipients would please gather. We do have a photographer who is hoping to collect some photos of folks and they can be shared. So we want to honor you in photos as well. So if you could linger afterwards, that would be really wonderful. As we are coming to nearing the end of Human Rights Week, the first Human Rights Week in Nova Scotia, we do have one more scheduled event, which is taking place on Sunday afternoon, and I hope you will consider joining. So this will be an online panel discussion where I will have an opportunity to talk with John R. Sillaboy and Duma Young. We will be having a forward-looking conversation about what the future looks like and how we might re-envision human rights through a two-eyed seeing approach. So details and registration for that event are on the Human Rights Commission website, so please consider joining us for that. I also want to thank Jeff Overmars and the Commission team for the really wonderful work to pull all of this together to plan and coordinate and hold this event. It's a lot of heavy lifting, but always well worth it. We also want to thank the Halifax Central Library for once again hosting us for this beautiful event. Thank you to Basil Audiovisual, our CART transcription providers, our ASL interpreters, and Scanway Catering. Thank you all so much. And again, thank you to Minister Gross for joining us. MLA Susie Hansen, who I believe is with us as well. And thank you again to the commission team, to our Board of Commissioners, and to all of you who've joined in person and online. Walalioq, thank you.
What an incredible afternoon I've had, and the incredible stories and the passion and dedication that our award recipients have shared with us this afternoon. But also there are so many other organizations out there that do this hard work for human rights. People that work the front lines, people that do the work behind the scenes, just to keep things moving and to keep our communities as well as can be expected in this day and time. I just want to put a reminder out there for all of those frontline workers and for all of those people who do this kind of work, to keep your medicine wheel balanced, to make sure that your emotional, physical, spiritual well-being are there, and that you're looking after yourself. If you get yourself sick, you can't help anyone. And I don't want anyone to feel bad about taking 10, 15, 20 minutes for yourself, just to make sure that you're balanced and that you're good to go, so that you can keep the rest of the communities good. So I'd like to close this incredible afternoon with a prayer to thank everyone and to thank the Creator and our ancestors for being here today. And as always, I invite each and every one of you to pray in your own way, the way that is best suited for you. Ani buju nanite makus, indejanakas, no mayanganaway, and ishnabekwe, Bachuana. Creator, we thank you for being with us this afternoon, and we thank you for allowing these individuals who are award recipients to be here and to put their talents and passion to good use for our communities. We ask that you watch over them and all those others who work so hard day in and day out, protecting our people and our communities and our brothers and sisters. And Creator, as always, for our veterans, we ask that you watch over them and keep them safe till they return back to Turtle Island and back to the loving arms of their family and their friends. Thank you.